I think this is probably the best interior under $70,000. Well, I see you're back, and I don't blame you for being back, because I have also been anxiously awaiting to check out this 2021 Genesis GV80 3.5 liter twin turbo Prestige model. That's the exact model and trim that we are going to be checking out today. So we're going to take this little vehicle through its paces, because I have been a pretty big fan of what Genesis has been doing, and this is really the most important vehicle that they have ever produced currently right now. There's going to be a GV70 coming soon, but that's not here yet. So right now, this is the first SUV that Genesis has produced. So they have created epic sedans for about eons now, but they just never got the respect that it deserved, like the original Genesis sedan, like from 08, 09, whatever it was. I drove that vehicle with the 4.6 liter V8. What an incredible driving machine. It rode well, it was refined, but that car never got the proper respect that it deserved. But then fast forward, I personally had the G80, loved that car, had a real quality, magical sensation to driving that vehicle. And now, of course, we got the new G80 as well, which I have not tried, but I would be very keen on doing that for sure. But let's talk about it. Okay, GV80, built from the ground up, okay, to be like a rear-wheel drive platform SUV. This is the first one for them. This is not based on like a Santa Fe or like a Palisade or anything like that. This is all new here. And no stone was left unturned when producing this vehicle. They really thought of it all, man. I mean, we're going to talk more about that in the interior segment as well, when I go through all the little details and the little nooks and crannies, and the level of attention and detail that they put into producing this vehicle is pretty extraordinary. But I've been driving this vehicle around for the last week now, essentially, and yeah, this is a true quality machine. I will give it that. So it does sit on a new platform, and we got Bentley designers working there now. So I guess let's talk about the looks of this vehicle, the exterior, essentially, because don't be ashamed to admit it. Why do we pride ourselves in owning a luxury object or a luxury vehicle? We want to be acknowledged and we want to be praised for it. Well, look no further, because in the last week that I have had this GV80, okay, I have been getting insane amounts of attention. This is a gray SUV, okay? It's really nothing mind-blowing, but the amount of attention that I've been getting, people coming up to me, asking questions about it, it is pretty insane. So this car is not being ridiculed. It gets respect. Nobody scoffs at it. Single-handedly by themselves, just by producing this vehicle, I think they have completely changed their brand perspective. Nobody, not even on the internet, really complains about this car. Even people on the internet see the quality of this vehicle, and that's great. Just by them producing an epic machine like this, they have changed the minds of many people. So good for them. And you got a gentleman right here, taking notice of the GV80. That's nice. But anyway, you let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below about the way that this vehicle looks. Let's move on to more pressing matters like this drive. So like I mentioned, this is built from the ground up to be a bespoke rear-wheel drive platform SUV for Genesis. They worked on the chassis of this thing. I will say the chassis on this is pretty great. Albert Bierman still works over at Genesis, right? It does have a great chassis, but keep in mind, this is a fully decked out trim, fully loaded with everything and anything. And what does that mean? Well, this vehicle still weighs about 5,000 pounds, almost 5,100 pounds, the way you see this vehicle with all the options in it. So that's actually fine. I actually don't mind that. And we'll discuss more of that in the, when I take this vehicle out on the highway here. You also got a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6 engine. This is the engine I would choose. I have not actually tried the 4-cylinder yet, but I think this is going to be the model that I have to choose because, well, here's why. That's why. Effortless thrust, of course, 375 horsepower and 391 pounds-feet of torque. Now, if you did get the 4-cylinder, it's not bad. I mean, power output-wise anyway. 300 horses, 311 pounds-feet of torque. Merge onto this highway here. I'm actually currently in the normal mode right now, but I actually have been driving around in my own personal kind of custom mode. That's my most favorite mode, basically, to drive around in. High-speed stability is fine. I will say, though, in the comfort mode, like when you have the steering in the lightest mode, you do have to correct for it a little bit more than I would like to, but for the most part, it's not a big deal. But again, I switch it over into the custom where I have the steering in sport. I kind of like that a little bit more. The steering gets a tad heavier, and I actually appreciate that. I put the engine response in the smart mode. I think, Genesis does a great job with the smart mode of the drivetrain, basically. I put suspension and comfort, and I put the all-wheel drive response in the sport mode, actually, because it's obviously all-wheel drive. Because it's fully loaded, what you get is an electronic LSD, limited slip differential. And what happens is, because you have that, okay, this is obviously going to be sending power to the front and the rear. That's pretty normal, right? But 100% of the power that gets sent to the rear wheels that's already there, it'll actually shift that 100% to each wheel that needs the power. As you can see, handling is fine, okay? Like the chassis control is great, but I will say there is a disconnect with the suspension that I've noticed. I had a similar effect with the LS500H. It's not as bad as that vehicle. Because of that, it's kind of lost some of the magic that the old G80 sedan used to have, because that really was calibrated to near perfection. Nothing in this world is perfect, but I'm just saying that was calibrated so well, right? But anyway, this thing, it's also got the 22-inch wheels on it. Looks incredible. I don't blame you for opting for these wheels, and you do get that with the Prestige trim here. But the 22-inch wheels actually does a pretty good job of soaking up the larger bumps, surprisingly, but these smaller bumps, like I'm experiencing here on this particular road, it doesn't do that great of a job. It's a little bit on the jittery side, but again, I would not get the Prestige trim. This is about $71,000, okay? $65,000 is what I would spend and get the advanced trim level, okay? You can also get a 4-cylinder with the advanced trim level, and that's about $60,000. Let's go all the way with it, spend the 65 racks and get the advanced trim. And that way you'll actually get 20-inch wheels. I think that would be pretty good. And those wheels actually look good as well in this vehicle. It has a similar design to these 22s. But yeah, this is the Mac Daddy. This is a very nice spec, of course, with these large wheels. But drivetrain has just been so good here. I'll actually test out the paddles here in a little bit. Put this back into the sport mode. And one of the things that really impressed me about this vehicle was actually the 8-speed transmission. This is in-house built, okay, by Genesis. And this 8-speed, I've praised this in the past. It was never as quick as the ZF 8-speed, but actually when I drove this vehicle for the first time, started playing with the paddles, I really thought that they actually put the ZF 8-speed in this vehicle. I was actually really shocked because it responds so well. It is so crispy. And see, look at that. You turned this thing in there. Yeah, man, this transmission upshifts, downshifts, reacts so well, pretty much identical to the ZF 8 speeds. I love that so much. Excellent. That's why I like this drivetrain. When you drive around in normal mode, yeah, of course there's a little bit of lag when you initially get on the throttle, but the power is just so effortless and just so easy to come on. Nobody's going to have issues with thrust in this vehicle. Despite it weighing 5,000 pounds, that's what I'm saying. This engine combination is perfect for this vehicle of this size, essentially. But most importantly, okay, Genesis really thought everything out here. They put a lot of pride into everything that they've done here, not from just a driving dynamics standpoint, but also a refinement standpoint, okay? Double pane glass, silent vehicle, okay? I took this out on the highway, as you just saw, very quiet machine, okay? But it's not just the acoustic glass and everything that they used. Also the wheels, right? Okay, I mentioned, okay, 22-inch wheels. It's actually a 2-piece wheel design. I think that goes for all the wheels that they have to offer. So 2Ps, what that does is actually reduces road noise, tire noise, whatever, but also the resonance that you get. And that's all by design. They did everything to make this as silent as possible, and it's all worked here. And there's even like an active like silencer apparently built into the speakers, because this does have the Epic 21 speaker Lexicon audio system. Okay, so what do you get with that? Well, Epic sound, of course, which I will talk about in the interior segment coming up here shortly. But because this vehicle has the kind of noise canceling effect like you would get with some of the Bose headsets or whatever, this will actually send out like a certain frequency to cancel out some of the other frequencies that you don't want here, like road noise, like tire noise, wind noise, stuff like that. So very impressive technology here. Again, they have thought of everything when producing this vehicle. And if you're like an aristocrat, more so of a wealthy person, okay, you're switching in and out of these vehicles like most people switch in and out of socks, basically. Okay, I think this vehicle deserves to be on your driveway. I really do think so. I'm not just saying that, like, is this like the best SUV like a lot of people are saying right now? All the SUVs are so good now. The competition is so high that I don't know if I can just blatantly name a best. This is a great package, though, as a whole. But most importantly, though, nobody's scoffing at it, and this has plenty of prestige to go along with this vehicle. I think we are all tired of seeing BMWs, Mercedes, Audis everywhere out on the road. They're fine vehicles. There's nothing wrong with them. Lexus, all these cars, they're all great. I like them all. But here's the thing, though. If you're like an aristocrat, you're doing well in life, why not give this vehicle a chance? You're already kind of switching in and out of cars every year or two. Put something else on your driveway for a change. Here's the thing. When you pull up in the Audis and the Benzes and stuff like that, nobody's really going to come up to you, ask you any questions or anything like that. You're not really being acknowledged. Most people just ignore those cars because they're just so commonplace nowadays. But this vehicle, you're going to be acknowledged for it. Your neighbors are going to love you for it. They're going to be coming up to you. You're going to get all this attention. You're going to be feeling very good about yourself, okay? Nobody's going to know that this is like a budget option or like a cheap car, because it's not a cheap car. It's 65 to 70 grand with the V6 here. But most importantly, it looks like double its price, basically. And that's the main thing that matters with a luxury product. Dude, this car looks like six figures rolling around on the road, and that's why it gets so much attention. And because of that, there's value here in that sense. You should take advantage of it. You should put this on your driveway. You should kind of pilot this thing around, feel it out. And if you don't like it, just get rid of it after a year or two. You're doing that anyway with all the other cars. This is different. This has style. This has presence. This has tech. I thought Mercedes was going crazy with their tech, but honestly, dude, as we're about to see here soon, the tech in this vehicle is ridiculous, actually. And this interior is something to behold for sure. So let's go ahead and let's transition over into that interior segment now. Okay, so now that we are parked, let's go ahead and let's talk about this interior, because I decided to give you guys a first-person perspective on this, because you have to witness this. I think, like I said in the beginning, this is probably the best interior for under $70,000. This is just too epic for this class, man. Like, when I first got into this vehicle, I was just blown away, and there is absolutely no cheapness with it, and it is solid as hell. Okay, here's the thing. I've pretty much driven everything in this class. I've been in the Porsches, I've been in the Mercedes products, and everybody does praise the Mercedes vehicles for being a very interesting interior, that's for sure. There's a lot going on there. It does look like a proper six-figure interior, but here's the thing, though. A lot of the Benz interiors, they're not quite as solid as this is. There's like this hollowness to some of their panels and stuff. Here, everything is very solid, well put together. I really do appreciate it. It's just not the way that's put together, but also just the buttons and the switches, the knurling on some of these buttons, like, that's so unnecessary, but they did it. They did a lot of unnecessary stuff here that they didn't have to do, but they did it anyway. It does elevate the experience. It takes it up to the next level. Like, for instance, right here, this little panel right here where your kind of knee rests up against it, it's like stitched and padded. Like, who the hell even does that? Like, that's way too much effort, and I really appreciate that. The small things really take it to the next level. Like, for instance, take a look at this door. If you're looking at a lot of the vehicles in this segment, one of the reasons why you might want to actually select this vehicle and put this on your driveway over everything else, it could be just for this interior space. It is very elegant. Great material choices. You got metal. This is real wood, mind you. And this is like a matte wood, actually. They used to do like this kind of glossy wood. No more of that. It's all matte. It's all real. It feels so good. I really like it. And like I mentioned, you got stitching all around, this two-toned color, right? So you actually get all this in the $65,000 advanced trim. You can actually get this exact same interior, these colors basically, with this kind of navy blue. I wish more car interiors would utilize this incredible kind of navy blue color. It's very dark, it's very elegant, matches perfectly with this kind of beige interior going on here as well. Like, would you take a look at the stitching on the seat right here? It's so well done. It is so impressive. This just blows everybody's mind when they see this. And that's what I'm saying, man. You know, it costs 65 to 70 grand, but man, it pulls off like this ambiance of like a six-figure object. And that's what's incredible about it. But is it perfect? Of course not. Okay. The technology in here, they have overcomplicated it. Okay. Mostly for you guys because you asked for it. You like touchscreens, you like screens, you like interacting with this stuff. Genesis is not stupid, okay? They know what you want and they gave it to you. However, what I always praised with the previous generation Genesis products like the G80 was the simplicity of interacting with their infotainment, you know, gauge cluster, their HVAC. All that has been overdone, overcomplicated. But because of that, it's the coolest looking kind of, you know, infotainment system that they have ever produced, basically. So let's talk about it. So the first thing that they overcomplicated was the HVAC. It is completely separated from the screen. This is a 14.5-inch screen. Looks very good. However, it's all kind of touch haptic. Now, you really do feel it, kind of interacting with it, and all the buttons and the dials, they feel great to use, the buttons and everything. They have a nice tactile feedback to them. But, you know, you got heated and cooled seats as well. You also get this in the advanced trim, and heated steering wheel. It took me some time to get used to this, okay, this whole touchscreen thing. So that's not really an issue, but it's the one area where it's kind of glossy and fingerprints become attracted to this whole touchscreen here. So when you kind of turn everything off, you really see all the kind of fingerprints on this here. So that's one of the things I've noticed. And it's just something you have to get used to, basically. And if there's some glare on it, then it could be kind of hard to see some of the buttons on this side. Something to keep in mind. But once you get used to it, it's not too bad. Same thing goes for this 14.5-inch screen up here, okay? It looks incredible. You use this rotary dial now, but it's actually also a touch screen, so you can actually interact with it that way. But here's the thing, there are so many features in this thing. I thought Mercedes packed their vehicles with a bunch of stuff. This is also very ridiculous. There's a lot of menus to kind of jump through. You can tweak and, you know, play with all this stuff. It's too much. They gave you too much here. But again, you asked for this. You know, the buyers in this class, they want to see all the gadgets, the toys, the gimmicks. They want it all, basically. And it's not too bad, okay? I got used to it, but again, you have to adjust your brain to this stuff. Like this rotary dial thing, very strange, very obscure. I don't really know when to use what, this rotary thing or this. I thought you can kind of, you know, put your finger and kind of run it across, but you can't do that. This is only for really clicking, pressing enter, basically, but whatever. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's a very wide screen. You have navigation, and then you can also have additional information being showed here on the side as well. So shows you a lot of information. I think most people are going to like it, but again, because it's touchscreen, you know, you got fingerprints all over it essentially. So something to keep in mind. I mean, since it is a touchscreen, I wish they would kind of move this a little bit closer, at least to where the stitching kind of is. I feel like that could have been easier to interact with since it is such a long screen. But anyway, it looks elegant. It's by far the best looking kind of technology screen thing that they have ever implemented in some of these Genesis cars. You know, you got wireless charging as well. You get that with the advanced package. And you got 2 USBs, a really fast charging one as well. And your gear shifting knob is actually this little rotary knob basically as well. It's very elegant. I do like interacting with this. This is a good system for a electronic shifter, so I don't mind that. You got your drive mode selection here as well with your all-wheel drive controls and a parking sensor. You can turn that on and off. You got your camera systems right here. Front camera, rear camera, 360 camera. It's got it all basically. And dude, this thing's got safety features for days. It's got, you should look this up for yourself, but there is an extensive list of safety tech. So if you suck at driving, man, this is the car for you. This outdoes Mercedes, I think, in terms of the amount of safety tech that it offers. It's actually too much. I can't believe it. But it's got all the classics, your blind spot monitoring, your lane keep assist, you know, the radar cruise controls, all this good stuff. It practically almost drives itself, but obviously, you know, got to keep your hands on the steering wheel, of course, at all times. So speaking of driving on its own, there's actually a feature here that I really got to talk about. This car actually does kind of drive by itself. You actually control it with your remote key fob. So you can actually move this car without you being in it. You can remote start this vehicle, and you see these two buttons right here. You can actually move it forward and backwards. Why do you do this? Well, if you are parked next to somebody who doesn't know how to park properly and they're too close to your vehicle, well, you can actually, from the sitting outside the vehicle, you can actually move it on your own, inch it forward, so it makes it easier to get in and out of. So perfect for those kind of tight city areas. Makes a lot of sense actually. So you can actually also reverse it to, you know, stop the vehicle. You just hold off the button there and the vehicle will come to a stop. So there you go. And obviously remote start. So very cool feature, you know. It's a gimmick, but honestly, it's very cool. And it's actually nice to have, actually. I'm not going to lie. It's a very cool feature. But again, $65,000, you will actually get that. So what do you get for the Prestige kind of ultimate $11,000 optional trim level that you see here that pushes this vehicle up to $71,000? Well, for one, you get this 12.3-inch center screen here. And this is actually a 3D screen. I've actually turned that off because when I first got the vehicle, it was at the 3D setting. And it kind of seemed a little off to me. I thought the refresh rate was a little off or something, but there's kind of like this weird kind of effect going on with it. But then I found out it was a 3D screen, and then I turned it off, and now it's clean, now it's crisp, it looks good now, so now I don't mind it. But if you get the advanced package, like I mentioned, you'll actually get an 8-inch screen here. So this is actually pretty easy to use. You know what I'm saying? You kind of go through, it shows you your typical information here. Safety tech, trip information, all that good stuff. It's actually not too difficult to maneuver around this, but you know, pretty standard stuff here. As you see here, right here, it's getting 11.9 mpg, but that's not really my actual average. I've been averaging about 18 mpg technically, so not too bad. That's with mixed driving, mostly with the city, and I have been pushing this vehicle pretty hard, so do keep that in mind. Turbo engines, when you really push them, they don't get the best MPGs. So something to keep in mind, if you're an aggressive driver, turbo engines, they're not going to treat you too well. It does utilize premium fuel. Keep that in mind. It cost me about $50 to fill this thing up completely, costing about $2.80 a gallon. So again, please do take notice to this elegant steering wheel here, kind of like this two-spoke design. Really, nobody's doing that, and all the buttons again feel great. Again, more attention to detail here on like the wiper stalks, things like that. It just looks so clean and elegant, functions so well, very nice. You got your traction control off, auto stop start defeat, you have that right here. You do have to keep pressing that button every time you get in and out of the vehicle, or I'm sorry, when you turn off and on the vehicle. Lexicon audio system sounds incredible. Another main reason to get this vehicle, not only for the interior but for the epic sound system. One of the best sounding systems I have heard of. Definitely worth it. 21 speakers. Got nice two little cup holders right here. Got your glove box right here as well, kind of filled up with the books and everything here. Nice implementation of the kind of HVAC vents right here. Very clean, very elegant, so well done. Again, a proper six-figure interior space in my opinion. Okay, and we got this center armrest right here, nicely padded with leather, very soft. Everything about this is very soft interior. Good amount of space in here, very deep. I do like that. I got a little tray right here as well. Very practical. I do like it. Obviously, you got the wireless charging port. So some of the other things you get with the Prestige model right here, okay, you're gonna have the electronic LSD, like I mentioned. Do you need it? I don't think, for a drive down to Nordstrom or Arby's, I just don't really think it's necessary. You know, valet parking this at Olive Garden, I just don't think you're going to need an electronic LSD. It's just not necessary. But what is necessary is playing with these paddles. Very nice. paddles to play with, and nice, elegant, bezel-less mirror right there with a panoramic sunroof essentially. As you see, you do have this little middle portion right here, but very nice nonetheless. Opens up all the way. But let's close that. And let's go ahead and let's talk about the rear seat. So I'll go ahead and I'll jump in. Okay, so hopping inside of the rear seats now. Okay, let's talk about it. Well, I have plenty of space right here. This is actually the 5-seater model. As you see here, there is no third seating option, not in this vehicle that I'm testing, but that is an option. You can make this a 7-seater, but it's a very small third row. But anyway, now that you're inside here, got a nice little look at that interior right there. Very nice. But again, plenty of features back here as well. So you got your own little HVAC controls and everything, temperature controls, and you get your own vents. Very nice vents, very nice to play with. Heated and cooled seats back here actually. With the advanced trim, you only get the heated seats back here, which is more than enough, but you also get cooled seats with the Prestige model. You also get these vanity mirrors that also comes with the Prestige model as well. Again, not stuff that's super necessary. There's a few other features that you get with the Prestige model, but again, you can look that up for yourself. Again, advanced trim is the way to go. You can actually move this seat forward and back. Very nice. Recline it. So that's really the seat to be at. But again, excellent leather quality continues back here. Nice little glass right here. It's tinted, but it is not double paned in the rear here, which is interesting to me. But you also have electronic power sunshades in the rear. Very baller. Okay, very nice feature to have. Very elegant. Usually it's like a thing you have to like press up on your own, but it's automatic, one touch up and down, very quick. Great feature to have, man. And you got more right here. You know, got your own little cup holders, got to have that. But also you can actually, one moment, move the seat forward and back. You can recline it. USB connectivity. You can even plug in a toaster back here as well. So you got everything you need right here plus some. So let's go ahead and end this review off with the trunk and the conclusions. Okay, so that's the button right there to open up the trunk. As you can see here, good sized trunk. You can actually electronically raise and lower these seats. It's actually a one-touch system, so very simple, but plenty of storage space. And you can actually remove this completely, but it's a nice thing to have. Nice little cargo shade basically. There you go, very simple. It retracts, nice thing to have. Open this up. Again, everything's carpeted here, looks very nice. You got your little Genesis Fix-A-Flat box back there, but not too much additional storage space underneath, but you got everything you need. Folds down flat, bring it up electronically, one touch. It's labeled as well. Close that, or you can lock it. Good amount of space for tall individuals to stand back there. So summarizing my thoughts with the GV80, well, I did really enjoy my time with it. Mostly I was just in awe of this vehicle, what they've been able to pull off here. Like, you can feel like the painstaking detail that they put into this vehicle. And there's even more things I forgot to mention in the interior segment, like this wonderful suede-like material up here on top. Like, usually it's just like some stupid plastic thing in a lot of cars, even in some luxury cars, honestly. But this is just well done suede materials, and just everything you interact with, there is just 0% cheapness with it. Yeah, I mean, that alone I think says enough here. It's the vehicle that, you know, is this a vehicle that we should all be driving? I mean, it's the vehicle that we should all be giving a chance at least. I mean, at least lease it, you know, do something like that. You know, the upper class people, you know, or, you know, the top tier 1%ers, they are in and out of a lot of these luxury vehicles. And I wish they would give this vehicle a chance. I really do think so, and I don't think anybody would scoff at them for owning such a vehicle. In fact, I think people would really come to respect it, actually. So yeah, is it perfect? Of course not. I mean, I feel like they could retune and recalibrate the suspension a little bit for better kind of street driving, if you will. A little bit of the handling and some of the jittery nature that you get from the 22s, I guess, that this vehicle has. Again, that can be remedied with putting the steering wheel in sport mode and also getting the 20-inch wheel option. I think that would be a pretty good place to be. Keep in mind, these are 265 wide tires in all four corners. Even if you got the 19-inch optional wheels, that's still 265 wide tires. So very wide tires, good tires here. The Michelin Primacy all-season touring tires, very good tire here. So it really helps with the refinement of this car. And that's the other thing. It's refined and it's got one of the best interiors. Really the two reasons why you buy a luxury product. And also it's got technology in spades for days. And also you get acknowledgement in this vehicle. People care, people ask you questions. And that's really it right there. And that's just not really happening anymore with the Beamers and the Benzes. People know what they are. People don't care anymore. This is special. Give it a chance. I think you'll like it. And thanks again for watching this video. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Thanks again. Take care and goodbye.